Okay, call to order. Start with the pledge.
Yep.
All right. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, all right. Roll call.
Martine.
Here.
Jankowski.
Here.
Snyder.
Here.
Sinkwitz.
Okay. Agenda additions. I didn't have anything to add, but I also approved the agenda before we sent it out. We'll talk about the ice melt thing as part of the key dates that's on the calendar. Anything else to add? Are we good?
Good.
Good. All right. Motion to approve the agenda as written.
Approve the agenda as written. Second.
All right. All right, approval of the minutes from last week. So
That's fantastic.
I think I skimmed them when we got here. They look like they captured what went down.
Yep.
So I think I'm good with it.
Yep.
So motion to approve the minutes.
I move we approve the minutes as presented.
All right, I second that.
I have to abstain.
No
You
problem.
weren't there. That's why I'm abstaining. It's a good, yeah. Been there, done that.
Okay. Call to the public. Nobody here. Moving on.
Pity.
Okay, so next up is appoint a vice chair. This was added by the village to the agenda. So
Yep.
I could say we can do it, not do it. I don't know how long we're allowed to go without one since Kathy resigned last time around.
I nominate Rob Jankowski.
Okay, we have one nomination for Rob Jankowski.
Can I nominate Bob Malik?
No,
You can't.
you can't and I can't. Liaisons.
So is this something you're interested in?
Well, I
Being a
have
part
to
of-
understand what the roles and responsibilities.
Basically, you do the exact same thing you currently do, unless I'm not here, then you run the meeting.
Okay, sure, okay.
I'll second that.
Who's interested?
Excellent.
Ed seconds that? All right.
All right.
I guess roll call vote?
Snyder.
Yes.
Sinkwitz.
Yes.
Martini.
Yes.
Jankowski.
Yes.
Excellent.
I could vote for myself.
You can't say
All
no.
right, there we go. We got
Maybe, you could say maybe, but I'd say yeah.
Moving up quick. All right, perfect. So administrative report, current lake level, I guess I could pull it up, but there's going to be nothing to report there. But I do have it
Don't bother.
somewhere, but it's frozen. And I'll add it after the fact. So it's not on the admin report, but I think we're good. Noteworthy complaints from the village. I don't know if anybody had seen anything. There's nothing here from the administrator. Everything's quiet. It's February. I have not seen anything on the social media.
Nope.
So nothing that I know of. Anybody have anything to add there?
No.
I haven't heard of any complaints.
Yeah, I think this is like the quietest of all the months.
Yeah.
So let's just see the lake level while I get it up here, just for our own sake here. All right. So the current lake level is 16 and a half inches below the summer level, which is where it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be around 18 inches below, so plus or minus. So the lake level is good. Okay, so the next section is Chairperson's report and general communications to the board. So first is, we have the two motions last time. They both got approved by council. So just to catch you up, we had the one which was to send out an RFP for updating the website with that map. So they're just going to like get a couple of companies to understand what it would take to update the website.
Well, which map are you talking about? Just
Basically have like that map on the website,
Okay.
but have it be interactive. So like if we have, we can use it across all the different boards and whatever, but actually have an interactive map as part of the website. That
show
we
where
can
the
put.
wells are, show where the drainage are
Yeah.
is,
Yep.
all that stuff.
So we had, a couple months ago, we put together, there's a document that we sent on what it would look like, but we had voted on it, but we didn't have a quorum, right? So we had already did all this, we didn't have a quorum, so it didn't count, and then we missed 2 meetings because we didn't have a quorum. And then last meeting, we just did the exact same motion that we did previously, which is literally, can we find out how expensive this would be?
Yeah.
And then, so that's all they're gonna do is find a couple companies that do the website design and get an idea on how much it is, and then probably come back and figure out what the budget.
You know, Ryan, from all the years that I was on council, I believe, and we could check into it, I could find out, or you could, that you can make motions and do stuff if you don't have a quorum, but I think it's spending money that you need a quorum.
So that motion that I did, which was just get an RFP, when we didn't have a quorum, but we still held the meeting, Dave said that we had to redo all that. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I think whenever there's money involved.
yeah. So anyway, that one went through, and then the second motion that was approved was the sign. So Rob had been working on redoing the sign down at the boat launch. We got a couple of estimates. I think he had gotten 3 from 3 different vendors.
Actually, 4. I got
4. We found one that was a design that matches the rest of the signs, was fairly cheap, so we basically said, sent a motion to council for the new sign with a not to exceed of something, I can't remember what it was, $750 or $800 or something, I can't remember.
So we're going to have 2 signs down there now?
Well, we'll have the main one, the big
Yeah.
one, and then the smaller ones on the dock, the front-facing and the rear-facing one, and they'll all
What are you
match.
going to do with the one that's there now?
What are we gonna do with it?
Probably pitch it.
I mean, you're not going to have it there?
We didn't, I don't think we talked about what would happen.
I thought maybe, coming into by the gate there.
We could potentially move it up.
Yeah, don't throw it away.
Yeah, we didn't address that.
But it's true. One will be down
By the dock.
by the dock, and then the big one will be as you're driving in or
We
someplace.
didn't address that, but we could tell them.
That's okay.
Not to
There's plenty of time to do that.
Yeah. So anyway, they approved to go, we're finalizing the design, we sent it to Dave, we got the tax exemption and all this other stuff going, so Rob's got that. So those 2 things were approved. So nothing else there. Again, the key date review, right, we have this little calendar that I like to try and go over. So the 2 things we had saw off on February, which was first the easy one, which is just to verify that we have an operator for the harvester. So I was just going to email Dave and contact Dave and just say, make sure that Grant is going to do it, or we have, because last time we had like.
So what I had heard from Dave, I don't know if you were in the communications back and forth, but Grant will have more time than he thought now, so he'll be able to continue. And also, the police officer will also
Do it.
agree to take some time to do that if we need extra help.
Okay, so I'm
Steve Grunwald.
I'm just going to send him a note just to triple check, because we said we would do it in February, so just make sure that it gets done. So just confirm that we're going to have somebody, because it was a question at the end of last year. Okay, then the other piece was this discussion on the ice melt, how we want to manage the dam. Obviously, last summer, we were painfully slow filling up the lake, so we're all in agreement that we want to change the way that we're managing the dam at the end of the year this year, close it earlier so that we fill the lake up quicker. I guess, how do we want, I think what they typically do is wait for the ice to melt back off of people's docks and stuff, so that when you fill the dam and the ice comes up, it's not pulling people's docks. So I don't know how we want to communicate what we want to do there. Let's have a discussion on that.
I have a question that you,
Can I see your paper?
yeah, I have a question that you could probably answer. Is I know we always lower the lake so people can do the shoreline work.
Which
that
I
they want.
repaired my dock this year.
There you go. But do we face the same problem? Does anybody like put that off till the spring? I mean, if we decide to do something like, okay, tell you what, let's just raise it to the summer level now, and so we capture all the ice melt. I mean, if there's stuff that's going to lift their dock, it's going to lift their dock, whether or not it's an ice melt or anything else.
Yeah.
What is our legal lake, what's our summer lake level? What is it?
18 inches higher than it is.
No, but,
Oh, the physical number?
yeah.
You got to give me a minute. I don't have it off the top of my head, but I have it. Give me one second.
Well, what have we done in the past regarding the lake level rising? when we
But
fill it?
I think, go ahead.
What we've done for the last 35 years is that they lower the lake level down, give or take 1.5 feet. And there's basically a couple strategies. One, when we weren't using chemical all the time and harvesting, that the ice would actually get a hold of the weeds, and as the lake was filling up, it was pulling them up. And I visually saw that down where I'm at. And the other one was that it would do less damage to shoreline and seawalls, because you've seen where the ice has pushed a seawall in or lifted the ground up, and you got a mound of dirt a foot high.
Right.
So that was the reason for that. And this year, because of whatever, we didn't get a chance, and a lot of people that wanted to put sand in or do some repair work didn't get a chance to. But I think that what we've done in the past, where we start lowering it, I think, in November, the 1st of November,
Yeah.
and get it down, and then usually they start, well, they don't add any water to it, except the water's going out all the time. And then I think because we want to be ready in May, April is when they start trapping water. And my concern is that we don't have to have it down a foot. If we got it 4 inches from the top, and if we get too much, we can open the gates, because for quite a while, we were told that we could only let so many gallons a minute out, and we found out that not to be true.
Yeah.
And the other thing too is that, if there's a lot of snow still left on the ground, in February or March, you can figure, well, that's going to go into the lake. So there's a little bit of guesswork, but I think the most important thing is not have a large distance to make up to get to our level.
Yep, so the target is 918.25 by May 1st.
918.25.
By May 1st.
Yeah.
So we're about 16 and a half inches below that right now.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
Welcome.
I guess, as far as communication, so my understanding is that DPW, they just wait for the ice to melt off the shore, and then they close the dam. I don't know that we can do it any earlier than that. If you start filling the lake before the ice is backed off the shoreline, you're probably going to damage some docks.
Well, okay, yeah.
Well, I leave my dock in the water all year long,
So
and
do I.
I have pipe driven into the ground. And every so often, but I haven't driven in about 20 feet. They might, if they bend this way, I take a pipe wrench and turn around this way, so next year they'll bend back again. But the sun and the warm temperature warms up around there, where before the ice is off the shore, I got a hole
Yep.
about that big around a 2-inch pipe.
Yep.
So, but weather conditions vary from year to year, and I think that's a kind of put something together, but exceptions can be made.
Yep. So I guess what do we want to very specifically say for DPW for this year?
Well, let me understand the mechanics of it a little bit. In that, okay, so we've got, once the ice is melted, but we're still getting snow, and it's coming in. If we close the gates to maintain that water, can't we just do what we'd normally do in the summer, and if it gets too high, or if it gets disruptive, let some of it out?
That's his point.
Yeah, that's the
So
point.
here's
It's easy to let it out.
It is easy.
But here's-
It's free.
No, here's the problem, is that the assumption is that we're not closing the gates early enough.
Right.
Right, okay.
Yes, that's the
I
assumption.
don't know that that's true.
Well, just based on last year,
Because
because
my,
we pumped the
yes, so-
springs.
Yeah, so last year, it filled up really slowly.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's because we closed the gates late, or if by the time the ice melted off the shore, there was not a lot left there, we closed the gate and we got what we got, right?
I think, because I can see the dam, I go on the bridge and I can look with binoculars, and last year, we didn't get a whole lot of precipitation in the spring,
Yeah.
and there wasn't a lot of snowfall left, but I think they were letting the water out too much. So I'm saying if let's say 918.25 is our level, if you set the board at 917,
Yep.
okay? Anything that went over is fine. Then in the last couple, 3 weeks, button it up and get it up to the
Yeah,
top.
but it's not, the board doesn't come from the bottom up. The board is here, and they raise it up, right? The water's going out under it, and then when they want to fill the dam, they drop the board, and that gives you your 18 inches, and the water's filling up. Right? It's not the other way. The
Oh,
board
yeah,
is-
so you can't just drop it.
But you gotta remember, there's four
I know,
points.
but my point is, the board comes down from the top. It doesn't come up from the bottom.
I understand that.
Right. Yeah, so you can't just say, I want to set it to 917, and then now it's going to fill up this high, right? You're closing it down, and then it's going to fill up just
Right to there.
based on the bottom.
But
Yeah, gotcha.
if you leave two open and put two down,
Yep.
you're still controlling the flow that's
Yep.
going out
Yep.
and getting it. But I think that, because every year is different. If there's snow, if we got a wet spring, ice conditions. Now, I can attest to the fact that I've been out here and had over 24 inches of ice on this lake. And that's documented, because the water board, at the time, I was their man. Yeah, and Mitkowski said, how about one more? And I said, no, I'm done. I did 4.
Yeah.
But I think if you, once you see the ice leaving shore, a couple feet,
Yeah.
and even if it gets cold again, it's usually not ice that
Yeah, it's
you
not
could
something you can
walk
walk
on.
on,
Yeah.
right.
That's when you start collecting water.
Yep, so what do we want to say? Do we want, I could just contact DPW directly? We just want to say, make sure we close the gates as early as possible,
Yes.
as soon as it's safe and we're not damaging.
No,
dams.
I think one thing is, once the ice has left the shore, then we can start collecting water,
Yep,
okay? And then, as we're bringing it up, when we get within 4 inches or 3 inches of our 918.25, just control the water going out so we can keep it at, 3 or 4 inches below, and then when it's time to collect, that last month, we slam it down.
I think they already close the gates, start collecting water when the ice is just off the shore, but I guess we can follow up with Andy. I'll follow up with him and just make sure that we're all aligned to the fact.
Yeah, I mean, if Andy says that's what we do anyway,
Yeah.
no, not Andy, yeah,
Yeah.
Andy Stone. If Andy says, well, we do that anyway, say, well, okay, but
Making sure.
something happened last year.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, and maybe they're the ones that can get the perspective, and how do we avoid that?
Yep.
We don't want to run pumps for 6 weeks to get it up to,
Yeah.
So I am taking the action item to follow up with DPW on it, just to say, emphasize the fact that the lake filled up extremely slow last year. We want to make sure we're on top of it and that we're closing the sluice gates and collecting as much water as we can as soon as we can.
Let's tell them to say, and put in their PS, it's your responsibility to be at 918 on the 1st of May.
He knows that.
yeah. But they're going to come and yell at us if it isn't there anyway, so that's okay.
Yep, he knows this.
Yeah.
I don't think this is giving you information, but.
Right.
Okay, so I will take that action item to follow up with him right after this. I have it half written already. Okay, so those are the only things, so the other thing, which I guess I'll just ask you guys as well, Paul Hausler was wondering when we should have him come in. He's available to come in either on the March or April meetings, now that we moved it to the 3rd week. I think we wanted to talk about April, so we talked last time that by April 1st, we want to have a survey and a treatment of the canal before the May restriction, because there's a May restriction in
Right.
for copper. So
Yeah.
I would think that we would want Paul Hauser to come in here in March.
Yeah,
So
makes
that we can
sense.
clarify that that's gonna happen.
Yep.
Okay? So I'm gonna reply to him now and just say, plan on attending the March meeting.
Question.
Yeah.
Since I wasn't here for a lot of Paul Hauser's stuff last year, where I was when I was on council. do you think he's promoting the harvester as much as he should?
I think they're doing as much as we should. I think everybody's got a different opinion of that, but I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I think he even stated because of the
Last year-
situation with the house.
Yeah, last year we had no harvester.
Right, right. But
So-
he had told us about
Good point.
what that ratio should be, I mean, how much it should be out there, so I think
Yeah.
he's in favor of it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, last year there was no harvester, so.
Right.
Right.
Last year was a failure for the harvester.
Exacerbated our,
And I hate to see this because I didn't want to ask for anybody because I asked him about a dozen times up there. I had a guy that has a works specifically on diesels. And he told me, because we had the barn and everything, he was the guy that came out and fixed it. And I said, what would you charge to winterize it and make sure it'll start in the spring? And he said, I don't know, maybe $100, something like that. And I think that fell on deaf ears.
wow.
Because what happened the last year,
Yeah, it didn't.
the fuel wasn't drained out properly.
Right.
Right.
And that stuff like turns to
Jersey
mud.
jelly, yeah.
And then, all the other big companies that have 20, 30 pieces of equipment, they're committed to that, and by the time they got to us, it was, June or July?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Motion to adjourn? Oh, I thought,
Well, we're getting there.
Yeah.
All right, so now this stuff we're gonna blast through. So continuing business,
Yeah.
this whole topic should go quick. So plant control invasive species. Again, I think what we're gonna talk about is with Paul. We'll bring him in
Yeah.
next. I just emailed Paul, told him to come in next month. We have to get the canal right this year.
Yes.
So whatever we gotta do to get early and often treatments in that
In that
specific
canal.
part of the canal, it will happen
Yep.
you're talking about for weeds?
for the algae.
Algae.
Oh, algae.
Yeah. All right, but we'll talk with Paul and make sure that he's crystal clear on what we're looking for next month. And again, since the copper is not going to be able to go in May, we need to get that treated in April. So let's just make sure that we've got a plan together for that.
Yeah.
Okay, signage at the boat launch, nothing to add. We got a new sign underway, motion was approved.
Yep.
So moving forward, should we remove this from our agenda, or we want to track it until the sign is up?
Why don't we just do that, just to be,
Leave it, leave it.
yeah, yeah. No,
As long as it's in print, it's not lost.
Right, right, I'll try to get it off as fast as possible.
Okay, harvester discussion, I don't have anything to add other than the fact that I just reached out to make sure that we're gonna have an operator.
Right.
I don't think there's anything else to talk about
No.
harvester at this point, right?
Yeah.
Boom. Lakeshore.
As a matter of fact, I had found another guy that might be interested, and David just said, no, we're okay. We got Grant and possibly Steve who
Oh,
can do that, so.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, Lakeshore maintenance, erosion cleanup, debris removal. So, what I thought was gonna happen, which didn't appear to happen, and we talked about it a little bit last time, but back in the other area behind Mellow Beach,
Yeah.
the guy was looking to try and get some help cleaning up and get a wood chipper and all this stuff. I talked to Dave, we kind of went around about it. He said he was gonna come in and have a discussion on it. Nobody's here. I've seen the pictures. Like I said, most of the, when I talked to the DPW guys, all those trees are from private property. When trees fell after we had the tornado
Yeah.
on like 59 and they were all in the lake, we weren't picking up other people's trees.
Right.
Their argument is that, we have a pump there that's obstructed by trees, et cetera, et cetera. So I was expecting them to come in and discuss
He
it.
was supposed to be here, but he's out of town, he called me.
So I didn't hear
Maybe the
anything.
next meeting, but I think what they're trying to do is that the people in that community, and I've worked with them,
Yep.
they get right out there and do it.
Yeah.
They said, all we need is somebody
Chip it up.
to bring the chipper and haul it away.
Yep.
So, if they bring the manpower and all the other stuff, and I told them, I said, why don't we see what we got, and then, if you need a couple $100 or $300-400, that's one thing. You want a couple thousand, that's a different thing.
Yeah, so I poked around, talked to Dave, talked to Andy, got some input from them, but I was waiting to hear more from the gentleman who's his name, Mike or?
Mike Kanish.
Okay, I was expecting to hear more from him. Didn't come, but that's still out there. I didn't follow up with him in email. He had emailed me a couple times about what the status is. He said he was going to get some people to cut some more trees down and do some work, so.
So he's got people to actually do the cutting?
Well, him and people in the community or whatever, they were gonna like start doing some of the work.
Actually, what they're looking for is they'll do the labor, they just need somebody to get the debris out.
I see.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I know about anything around erosion cleanup and debris removal, but I haven't heard anything. That was a month and a half. He was supposed to come last month and wasn't able to, and then I thought he might be here this time, but he's not, but.
And is that
Yeah, I
something
talked to him
typical
today. He's out of
the
town.
board will
Yep.
Pay for?
What is that?
There are funds for those sorts of
No,
things?
generally, we don't do that.
No.
So we gotta get the pitch, figure out what we want to do, make a recommendation to council, like, it's gonna have to go through that level of process, but generally, if it's not a village-owned property, there's
Yeah.
not anything we normally do.
Well,
The village must own it because they put the pump on it.
well, I probably used an easement to
I
do
don't know.
that, but.
I don't know, let's get the story. and-
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Because I would think if I had a tree on my property and it fell in the lake,
You wouldn't ask the village to chip it.
well, I mean, the thing is the village would require me to clean it up. You can't, I mean, there's rules against us allowing invasive species on our,
Yep.
if we know about them, so, okay.
Okay, lake enforcement issues, I don't think we got anything there.
No.
Okay. Huron Valley Watershed Council,
No.
nothing?
Nothing? Oh, you're in Trail Lake, sure. What are we gonna do about that?
About the Huron Valley Watershed
That was
Council?
a Duff thing, right?
We-
She was
yeah,
gonna
she was the last
make the
person to sign
approach.
to that.
Is there value in
I'm gonna look at what we said last.
connecting with
The
that?
value of that is if you get a big, like the Greenway drain,
Yeah,
and we were fighting that and fighting that, when we got Huron Valley Watershed in there, it gave us a lot more clout
okay.
than the village.
So that's a relationship worth,
Yeah. I think,
And what does that entail? Just going to their meetings?
I would imagine if we found a way to hook up with them and they wanted to allow us to participate, then we need to go to council and say, hey, we want to develop this relationship. Can we get an okey-dokey, and then we do it.
well, as long as, if we do it and they don't have to be bothered with it, they don't care
Okay.
from council, but, you know,
We haven't had
I was
anything.
involved with that, but it was only when we had projects like the Greenway drain, you know, and all the crap coming down there and building that seawall there.
Okay.
We haven't had anything to report on this topic. I'm back to September 2021.
Can we keep it on the agenda one more time? I'll take it upon myself to.
So it was a Mike Sargent thing, and then the only topic we've had on this is saying it's gonna go from Mike Sargent to Kathy.
Kathy.
Never had another report on it, ever, and so that happened September 2021.
Make
So-
a deal. Leave it on for the next month, and if I don't come back with something to report next week, I'll move that we take it off the agenda.
The other thing you could do, you could request our village manager
To make the contact?
to contact them and, you know, find out if it would be beneficial for us. I'm almost, unless it's changed, because,
Yeah.
but we're involved with it, but,
Yeah.
and I don't think it's a thing where you gotta go to meetings all the time.
So there's four meetings a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
And like I said, I'm literally back now in May 2021, and the only thing we've had is no report out,
Yeah.
and changing responsibility from sergeant to Duff. That's it. So this
Yeah.
thing's dead.
The reason it's piqued my curiosity is another piece that I'm looking at, that I keep going to classes on and getting disappointed with, is the erosion issue.
Yeah.
And the water quality thing, and I think they might be a source that can lead us in a direction, or at least give us some direction to help.
But the last thing, so I'm back to February. Bear with me as I'm seeing how painful this actually is. The only thing was in March of 2021, Mike Sargent said he'll follow up with council again. That's
There we
it.
go.
That was it?
One calendar
Okay.
year, we've done nothing with this line item, so if we don't have something to talk about next meeting, it's coming off the agenda.
Okay. I put a me next to it and circled it.
Okay, this is,
You know it'll get done now.
this is now on you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Water Management Board, goals and objectives. Oh, man. That one makes me cry every time.
I know.
Because this is mine, I think it's important, and I
It
haven't
is
done it.
important. It is important. Don't kick yourself.
Okay. I got nothing to report.
All
but
right.
Again, every time I see that, it makes me cry a little bit.
But it is important. You're right.
Well, take it off.
No, it's
No,
it's
'cause
important.
that one I need to do.
It is.
I need to do, I just need to get the time to do it.
Yeah.
Clean boats and clean waters.
So I called Kathy Duff just to ask her what she has done with that.
Yeah.
A donut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she gave me a website to go look at, so I've been going through that, but I wanted to, get your advice. I mean, what would the plan be with that? Because we've got that existing
So
system.
that existing system obviously isn't being used for anything. So the whole concept around this was, if we want to do something different, they have a grant match program.
Yeah.
Right? So if we decide.
Who's they?
This clean water, clean boats, there's a match program associated with that. So if we look at it and say, this is something we want to do, because the system that's out there is basically abandoned, I don't think it's maintained either.
Yeah.
But if we say, this is something we want to do, we can, now, most of what they had were like crazy things, you got generators, and
Yeah.
nobody in that area is gonna buy off on us running generators at clean boats, right?
Right.
So it's gotta be something reasonable, but if there's something there that is appealing, we have, I think, like $10,000 in the budget this year, and there's a grant match through that program. So we could look into it, see if there's something we wanna do there. This, again, was a Kathy thing, so I never looked at it.
Okay. But I'll follow up. As a matter of fact, I just saw there was you see, Paul, there's a new woman that got hired on to MSU or the Eagle or something. She's new, and one of her topics is things that she's involved with is clean boats and clean water. So maybe I'll give her
hadn't
a
seen
call
Yeah.
and see if she can, explain to me what some of the options are and what would be.
To me, it's always felt like a lead a horse to water kind of thing. It's a good thing to do, everybody, but it's like, how do you convince somebody not to wash my boat before I put it in the lake?
The biggest part of the problem, that all this, that as far as keeping invasive species out of the lake, we're 15 years too late.
Yeah.
I mean,
Unless they come up with a new
I've
one.
seen goby, we've got, zebra mussels and everything in this lake, Cass Lake, Walled Lake. And the other thing that doesn't make any sense is people don't wash their boat going into Wolverine
Well, that's the
Lake.
big thing.
Right.
They're they're expected to wash it on the way out, whether they do or not. But I know, what's the point? I mean, what
Yeah.
if they brought it from somewhere and
And
washed
it's,
it?
if it's Saturday morning and everybody's trying to sneak in before the guard's there and they don't have to pay or whatever, and you want to sit there and park and wash your boat.
Right.
Beep, beep,
Everybody's
beep,
lined up,
everybody's-
no, heck yeah.
everybody's honking and stuff. And when they put that up there, you need a consistent source of water, not just
Yeah, fill
a
it
spray
all.
tank.
Yeah.
And then where's the water going to go? Is it going to run down there into the lake?
Yeah.
Yeah, the spray is not inherently dangerous.
Let's say
Whatever
20
you
boats
sprayed
go
off
out.
your boat's gonna go.
If 20 boats come in,
Yeah.
and you spray maybe 10 or 15 gallons on each boat,
Yeah,
it goes
the
in-
whole tank is, four
Well,
gallons.
it's worth talking to the lady, yeah, right.
I think
It's
it's,
worth talking to the lady,
I think it's something we should, again,
yeah.
look into. If we want to, if you want to take that and go poke around and see if there's anything that looks appealing. Again, the whole idea was that there's a grant match. If we want to do something, there's an opportunity to do something because of the grant match. If it's something we come back and we say, we're not going to do anything, and we want to get rid of the old system's an eyesore, plus it doesn't get used, maybe we just get rid of it.
Well, I think the important thing is it's nice to have grant money for it, but if it's something that's not,
Yeah. I agree.
we're not going to get any advantage out of it.
I don't want to throw money at something that people aren't going to use any more than what we've got now.
Of course, but so let's again, let's take the meeting minute to be, if we don't make action on that this month, we're taking it off the agenda.
I'll take care of it. I'll take care
All
of it.
righty.
All right, website content. Again, I talked about the motion that we made. I think that's the only thing currently. I think I'll probably comb the website before springtime because it's going to get a bunch of traffic and make sure the information is all up to date. But the main thing was this map thing, which the RFP is underway. So I don't think there's any additional stuff we need to add there.
I think that's an exciting,
It'd be cool if it happens.
it sure will.
Okay, future business items. Anybody got anything to add? We've got the typical, like I said, the calendar that I'm kind of working off of, just to keep some things in front of us. Man, this is the smallest text ever. You know you can, I know, it's already at 100%, it's just, my laptop screen is terrible.
Oh,
All right.
Okay.
Oh, voter safety dates. Do we have, this was something I was thinking we were going to give Mitch.
yeah.
All things voter safety, he was all about it. I thought he was going to take the.
Yeah, it was going to
Did
be.
we have a decent turnout last year?
I thought we did.
I thought we
two
didn't.
classes
I thought we
last
didn't have it last year.
No, we did. I think there were 2 classes last year.
Who actually does the training? Somebody from,
Oakland County Sheriff.
Yeah, Oakland County.
Oh, is that right?
All right. So I will follow up voter safety schedule. I'll follow up with Dave and find out what the voter safety schedule is, if we're going to have classes or not. Obviously, if we're going to do it, we're going to want something in the spring, May timeframe or something like this. I don't have anything else on here. Basically, just so you get a heads up on the calendar, I think we have a budget due in May. We've got the target lake levels by May 1st, first treatment in May 15th. So the big thing that I have here that's not addressed is this voter safety thing, so we got to figure out when that is.
Did we abandon the safety fair idea? Remember we talked about that for a while?
Again, I thought, we talked about last year that it'd be a good thing to do, but again, that
I
was
can't
something I
figure out
was
who got
hoping we were
hands
going to throw
up.
Mitch on.
What's
Yeah, I
that?
was going to say, we talked about, they used to have a safety fair where the police would be there and they'd have stuff with boats and life jackets and all that stuff. And we were thinking about reviving that, just getting people conscious of being safe on the lake. But we ended up, and Chief was fine with that.
Yeah, he said it was quite a bit of coordination, but it would be a cross-board thing probably
Right.
with us and.
Parks and Rec, and, yeah.
Now, we used to, I don't know if some of you remember, but like when we would have the fishing tournament, when it first started, I was getting everything from Gale Sporting Goods, which was in the, at the mall there, which is no longer there now. But anyway, I just tell them, I said, anything fishing related that is not selling, put on the side and we'll work something out. So I got 5 reels for $5 and stuff. But anyway, and then we had a couple of the fishermen around the lake that were showing the kids how to tie knots and how to hook up your, where you put your weight and where you put your bait and drop fish, drop weight. Show them that stuff. And then that was all during the fishing tournament. And then we had that's where we had Oakland County come out there, the Oakland County, the game warden. And he was out there and he come up to me and Matkowski, we were involved, and he says, he said, I could write enough tickets right now that I could retire. And I said, why? He says, half the fish these kids are coming in are not minimum size. And I said, well, we're throwing them right back. And he says, read it.
Yeah.
You don't take them out of the water and you don't put them in the boat.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
we could try to make something, a little bit more involved than just go fishing and come back. And get, the police boat there and, and the correct way to wear a life jacket and not, because nowadays, when you used to have that big orange jacket on, it was only uncomfortable, you couldn't cast, you couldn't do it. Now you put a jacket on, it's just like a fat vest.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
I prefer a May West. Now, there's a life jacket.
Are you talking about the May West or May West?
Yeah, May West.
May West.
You can pull a cord and thing in plates.
So what do we want to do here? I mean, we talked about it would be a cool little community thing to get together and do a voter safety thing down by the dock.
I don't know.
Well, I'll look into it.
Okay, good,
Because the other thing is the police chief was talking about coming into one of our meetings as well.
yeah.
Maybe I could see if he wants to come in next month, and then we could talk about if he thinks it'd be
Yeah.
big. I feel like it's another thing where if we're going to do it, you want to do it in like May.
Yeah, so we probably should,
May or June?
Well, this is another, you got me on my pet peeve. Why would you ever have a fishing tournament?
Not fishing
Not
tournament.
fishing.
Not fishing.
This-
Oh, okay, I was going to
Safety
put the
tournament.
two together.
No, this is this,
okay, well,
yeah, I was
End
thinking,
of August is,
thinking.
who fishes in the end of August?
Yeah, that's
The
what I was-
water's 85 and there's algae in it.
No, I was thinking the safety,
The safety-
the safety thing that they
Yeah.
did previously, there was a discussion about doing a safety thing.
Well, we'd want to do it before the 4th of July.
Yeah, so as I said, we will probably do May or June.
yeah.
But if maybe we have the police chief come in next month, I could reach out to him, see if he thinks it'd be a good idea, and then figure out what we
Would it
want
be
to do.
worthwhile having a joint meeting if we were going to do this with Parks and Rec to begin with? Or at least have them in for that, have a rep that
And
that
what
segment?
we did, we also showed, like the kids, like how to get into a boat if there's not a ladder. And if somebody's drowning, how do you save them? You don't grab them by the hair, you got,
So this isn't the
You would be
official
able-
boater safety thing.
No,
actually
this
do
was like an event that they
Yeah.
used to have down by the dock. Like it was a whole,
Basic safety.
yeah, it was like a multi-hour thing for a day in the summer, and they had different stations set up where they were teaching different things about
Yeah.
lake safety.
we usually got one of the local restaurants to donate hot dogs or something, and,
Sounds good.
for the kids and stuff like that. Yeah, we could make it an event, but
Yeah.
I think it would be, my only thinking is if you did it, like the fishing tournament, I think ends at 11. It used to anyway, bring them in and weigh them and everything, and then noon, and then have this start like at 1.
When is the fishing tournament normal?
It's in the end of August.
Now it is.
Yeah,
Now it is.
and if they don't want to change it, so be it, then we'll just.
So we want to see if the police chief wants to join us next month, and we could talk about it.
Yeah.
And then, does anybody know anybody on Parks and Rec?
Mitch,
Yeah, I know, I know the Parks and Rec,
You think they'd be interested in
yeah, they're always looking
hooking
for
up to
some.
this? Okay, good. Be good.
Julie Miller, she's ahead of it.
Okay,
There's a couple of people on there that don't want to do nothing.
yeah.
It's like
So-
any committee.
I'll reach out to John Ellsworth, Chief Ellsworth, and see if he wants to join us next month.
Or,
and what would the purpose of his joining? What are we looking for him for?
To talk about the safety fair.
And anything else. I think it's
Yeah.
usually, we try and have it sync with him before the season anyway.
Yeah.
See if there's, like, we originally were talking, like, with Mitch on, what education stuff could we do? What does he think? I think it's worth just singing with him and say, is there anything we could do from a community education perspective? Whether it's the safety thing or something else that he thinks would be beneficial.
as big as that area is, and some people will come with boats, some will get with cars, that we could have an area for, I know the guy over there at the fishing place over here on Benstein would be more than happy to bring some stuff and show, how to tie a knot so it doesn't, you tie 5 knots and you pull on it and it comes apart. So, like a general, I don't know what I'd want to call it, learning or show and tell, then do the first aid
Demonstration.
stuff.
Right.
And,
Okay.
a couple other things there that we can add to it.
Okay.
And then there's always somebody there that's got a fly rod that will show kids how to use a fly rod, 2 and 10, 2 and 10, 2 and 10.
Just like where I hold my hands. See, I get it.
Yeah. But I don't know, you can act, the chief, I don't know if he wants to come on a Wednesday night to another meeting, but just
He's done-
ask him what he
he's done
thinks
pretty good
the concept of it is.
Yeah.
And see if you,
Sure. Well,
I'm gonna email him and we'll deal with it, see if he wants to show up, and maybe if you wanna ping Parks and Rec, either one of you just running past them. I mean, it's a good thing to do, it's just gonna take
I
after.
think there's enough young people on the lake that would be more than happy to
Yeah.
do demonstrations out there. The only thing we ran into is, I don't think we can close the access down.
No.
It's okay, it's
Yeah,
twice the size now.
Yeah, true, it is.
But if the access was filled and there was no more room for another boat, they wouldn't be allowed to come down there.
That's
Yep.
true.
So if we get, and I can park 2 cars there.
Yeah, you just 3 seconds walk to your house, get to be back there.
Yeah, no kidding.
Okay, any other future business items?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, liaison reports, we got no liaison from the council, planning.
Yes, exciting planning stuff. Master plan draft was approved by council, so we've got a new master plan draft, so that's getting.
And what does that do?
What that did is it took a look at the village overall, what plans there were some differences in how certain areas were zoned between multi-use and retail. That's what happened for the Glengarry Inn. And taking a look at different plans for the recreational areas, the parks and stuff like that, what we want to do from this point forward to enhance them. I think there's a special needs thing that we went for grants for kids that are wheelchair bound and that sort of thing. So those kinds of things were included. Let's see. There was a new person that was accepted and approved to the Planning Commission, a fellow by the name of George Weber. He's a Commerce Township Board member and a Planning Commission member there, and he's a recent Ford Motor retiree, so he's got some time on his hands that he wants to share with us. There was a review of the Glengarry Inn expansion request, now that they are zoned appropriately. And they presented a plan, and Sally Eminger, who's our consultant.
For dancing?
No.
Oh, I thought you said dancing.
No. The expansion is to kind of legalize the awning they have, and to create seating out there. They were allowed to do some stuff on a temporary basis because of COVID, and you had to dine outside. But to create a permanent situation, there are certain barriers that have to be constructed.
Close to the road.
Yeah, so they got to have these barriers constructed between the road and the seated area. And that's.
And we're willing to spend all that money?
Well, Eminger's given them the information as to here's what you need to say you're going to be able to do.
You know, when I go by there and I see all the cars in the parking lot, people
Yeah.
have to be sitting on each other's lap.
Yeah, well, and
That's good.
Yeah, but it wasn't without objection. There were some people that showed up, not at this meeting, but at a meeting prior that, their fear was that they wanted to expand physically, make the building bigger, expand their parking areas, Some of the neighbors over there could.
Well, the other thing too is that most bars that have an outside, especially along the road like that, you have a tendency for people to get a little bit mouthy, a little
It
rowdy.
can get loud.
Yeah.
Hey,
man, you're not going down there,
Yeah. But anyway, other than that, that's pretty much. But it was a fun,
actual meeting.
It was a fun planning commission. We know how to party over there. Got that on tape.
Great. All right, comments from the board members.
I just want to say that it was worthwhile to take that Michigan State class.
Okay, explain what it was. This was before, not the one we did, the big one, but.
No, it wasn't the big one. This is a
Was this the
supplemental.
recent one that I had to get the link to because I couldn't make? Is that
Yes,
that one?
yeah.
Okay.
And pretty much what it talked about was if you are a riparian, and a lot of it is stuff like, okay, if you have to replace your seawall, here are some things we'd like you to consider that prevents, that
Riprap and natural seawalls.
riprap and a pathway down and all that, no hard surface. But, I mean, if you're in this lake, that'd be like
I
a
was gonna
crack
say,
in the
is
bowl.
that
I mean,
even
it's-
an option? I mean,
You could do it. I mean, there's shoreline on this lake that doesn't have a seawall, but it's beach and it's, that kind of stuff. And what I'm trying to do through going to some of these classes is see if there is a way that where folks have mitigated some of the problems that happen when you have a lake full of seawall. What else can we do? Everybody's got a seawall. If
Yeah.
I decide not to have one, my property's gonna go slooshing out into the lake because I'm getting battered from both sides. So, but those classes are worthwhile. I learned some stuff, and
I mean, this
They're worth doing when they
this
come up.
class and this whole concept was the whole reason why we said we were gonna do that erosion project. And
Yep.
find a place on the lake.
Yep.
Do a natural seawall there,
Yep.
get rid of this, pick a place that's high traffic.
Yep.
Observe it over years, see if it can sustain, like, that was the
Yeah.
point of that project. That
Right.
The only reason why it didn't get done is because we couldn't get agreement on where.
on where, right?
And the problem is, when I moved in there, there were very few seawalls.
Yep.
And without it, especially now you got wake boats
Yeah.
that, make a 6 foot high wake, and the lake is so narrow, you take Orchard Lake or even Walled Lake,
Yeah, you got big
you could get away without a seawall, and a lot of them don't have it.
Yeah.
But our little narrow lake, boat comes down the middle lake and turns around, I just see the waves coming and then
Yeah.
splash
Yeah.
and splash.
Yeah,
The only-
but like I said, the reason why we talked about that project
Yep.
was if we wanted to encourage people to do something different,
Right.
the method of doing that is to show them that it works
Here's-
before
yeah.
they have to spend their
I
own
don't
money.
think,
Right.
I know
Who's gonna be
people
that
that don't
person?
have it, I don't think you could show anybody that it works on Wolverine Lake. You're wasting your time,
Yeah, but
because
that's,
it's all seawalled up now.
Yeah.
I have that
but we had,
March our easement,
I know, but they
and the
don't-
village put sand in there, and that didn't stay. So then they put crushed concrete
Yeah.
in there.
but none of that is what, if you take those classes,
Right.
Yeah,
none
it's
of
plant
that is
life.
what they're saying.
Right.
You could do specific plants, specific things you can
Yes.
do. And we had people come in, we had presentations come in, 2 companies or something,
Yep.
talking about what the process is, and that you could do it.
Yeah.
And we were talking about doing it as a sample
Yeah.
and showing that it
Pilot
could or
program.
could not work.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't work, we had the budget to prove it and everything.
Yeah.
But we just couldn't get agreement on where to do it.
Right.
I'll tell you, the biggest problem I had before I had the seawall was not erosion, but I had cattails down there, and I kind of liked it. Every weed that was floating on the lake was in those cattails. And it didn't take long before it stunk like
Oh, bad.
somebody left grass in a garbage can for a month.
Like a little compost right there.
Yep.
Oh, well.
But anyway, that's all I had to say about that.
Okay,
I move we adjourn.
I
Second,
second.
all in favor?
I,
Aye.
Aye.